This is Mark Bell, and we're at Iron Addicts Gym with the legend himself, CT Fletcher. CT, you have a lot of great things that have happened, especially inside the walls of these gyms. You got the pedigree of having the powerlifting career, curling world championships, all kinds of stuff. But one of the things that most people get super excited about is you saying a long, long time ago, it's still your motherfucking set.
Yes, sir, buddy.
The thing that people connect with me the most over the years is kind of the same thing. People really love the word fuck, I guess. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
But I said, fuck you and fuck your elbow, kind of in reference to, you know what, just fuck it, man. Everything's going to hurt when you're training, and you got to just keep pushing forward.
Exactly. Undoubtedly. I mean, if you do any type of contact sport or heavy weightlifting, anything involving grunting and straining a lot, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. And if you let the injury stop you, if you pussyfied enough to let an injury stop you, then you ain't going to never be shit at that sport, man. Take up typing or something.
What is something that pushed you forward? What is something that, maybe not so much now, we can switch gears and talk about that in a little bit, but what's something that pushed you when you were younger, when you're in your 20s and in your 30s, and you're just trying to get bigger and stuff?
What pushed me was the burning desire to be the absolute best. Burning desire, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say I wanted to be absolutely the best on the planet, hands down, and I wouldn't be sad when people say, well, how big you want to be? How big you big enough already? So I said, look, until it's unanimous.
Right.
Until everybody on the fucking planet agrees that CT Fletcher is the biggest, strongest motherfucker on the planet, then it ain't enough.
How old are you now?
Oh man, I'm 58 in June.
Okay.
58.
So now at 58, you understand that what you were in search of doesn't even exist, right?
Exactly.
You're probably aware of that now, right?
Yes. But yeah, I was
because it's people's interpretation of who's the strongest.
Of course, I was aware of it then.
Okay.
But it was also my tool to keep myself hungry.
Right.
And keep myself wanting, because I knew that would never happen. You're absolutely right, Mark. I knew it would never be unanimous. So I always had to continue to get, try to get bigger.
Because somebody's going to say Ed Cohn or this guy or that guy, and then it's like hard to debate. Like, this guy's good at squats, this guy's good at bench. And there's so many different forms of strength. Like, who's to really judge? You got things like gymnastics.
Exactly.
You have other sports where there's crazy amounts of strength.
That's right.
Things that you and I could never imagine.
And wouldn't even want to. Yeah.
We'd get seriously injured probably.
Yeah, you guys pulling themselves up with their toes and shit.
Yeah. What do you think of today's mindset? With today's kids, there's a lot of talk about the millennials, and some will say they're lazy, and some say this and that about them. What are your kind of thoughts on how they can utilize it's still your motherfucking set to push them and to drive them in their everyday life?
Man, Mark, I find, and I get a whole lot of messages from a lot of youngsters, and CT. I've been working out for 2 years, man, constantly, consistently for 2 long years. And I want you to help me. Can you put me on?
What's the first thing that comes to your head when they say that?
Fuck no. 2 years? Are you out your motherfucking mind? That's what I'm like, 2 years? I mean, do you really actually think that that's a long period of time?
Right.
I'm like, damn, 2 years. And I make it public that it took me fucking 33 years before any fucking body knew who the fuck I was. And these guys, so when somebody comes to me tell me about they've been working hard for 2 years, I immediately want to tell them, get the fuck on up out of here.
Probably took you a minimum of 5 years to even look like you worked out. 10 years?
Yeah.
Right? For people to go, oh, okay, guy works out.
Oh, yeah, I guess he lift weights, but these guys fucking 2 years, man, that pisses me off more than anything else. I'm like, God damn.
You're not a guy that accepts excuses, but at the same time, I don't take you as someone who's judgmental.
Oh.
I was just in conversation with your daughter, and I used a funny word to describe you, and I said that you're beautiful. And what I meant by that is that you're super kind, and I was super excited to come here today and to kind of show you off to my team. I'm like, you don't understand, CT Fletcher's so cool. But you've always been so kind-hearted, but at the same time, you got the Compton background. and you have your background of being a hard ass all those years. How are you able to kind of blend the two things together?
Well, I guess it has a lot to do with the way I was raised. I had an extreme dad on one hand and an angel for a mom. So I guess
there you go.
I have a bit of that in me. As much as I hate to admit it, I got some of my dad in me. He was a hard ass, no fucking that. I think that's where no excuses started from. Was that motherfucker? He was like, I remember I ran track. I don't know if I ever told you this. I used to run track in school, and my dad, I ran track all throughout school, early years in high school. And he showed up for one meet. Didn't come anytime. I was shocked. He didn't even tell me he was coming. I looked up in the stand and there was my dad.
And there he was.
There he was. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I got nervous and shit. And, but I ran, I did my best, and I came in second. And I looked up in the stands and all I could see was my dad turn around, get the fuck up, turn around, and leave the fucking stadium. And he told me that, second best is second is just like being first, last, or some bullshit. Right. Like, it's just second is not even worth mentioning.
The first loser, yeah.
Yeah, the first loser, exactly. Yeah. Right. And it's not even worth mentioning. That fucking and I wanted to, that burned a hole in me. And I said, from that day forward, I'm gonna do something to show this old motherfucker, to make this old motherfucker proud of me.
Yeah.
As much as I hated him, I wanted them to be proud. I wanted them to respect me. So I wanted to do something to make this motherfucker respect me. So I guess that's got my weightlifting drive going way back then.
It's interesting because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your mom and your dad.
Exactly.
If it was only for your dad, you'd probably be dead.
Yeah,
or in jail or something worse, right? But it was your mom that kind of held the glue together.
Yeah.
But what I find so interesting is a lot of the greatest athletes, a lot of the people that we look up to the most, people put their kids into these camps and they'll put their child into this Peyton Manning football camp, and it will cost $10,000, and they want their kid to be the next Peyton Manning or next Tom Brady, and they spend a lot of time and a lot of money, and they're at every game and they do everything they possibly can. But the thing that usually makes the strongest kid, I'm not saying to do this,
I know it's good,
is to turn around and walk out the door.
Yeah.
It's happened to Shaquille O'Neal, Marshall Faulk, Mike Tyson. The list of names goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And you had to deal with a lot of that growing up, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. I get so many messages from pro athletes now, and talk to so many of them. They DM me, send me direct messages, and their stories are fucking. A lot of them are so similar to mine. It's ridiculous.
You didn't
man.
even know it existed like that.
I was like, no way you would think that guy came, from a dad that kicked his ass.
Right.
No way you would think that. And it's just amazing how many people relate to that part of the story. And it's, they come, when I go to an MMA event, or wrestling or something like I love all forms of martial arts and mixed
We're going to have a
martial
wrestling
arts.
match when this is over.
Hey,
It's going to be great.
Fuck yeah, can't wait. I love all of it. When I go in a fight, some of the top fighters on the planet, man, will come up to me and shake my hand and say, "Oh, Mr. Fletcher, I have so much respect." I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
Me?
Respect for me for making a funny YouTube video.
Yeah, me, man, what the fuck? And they know, I got so much respect for you, and I relate to your story. Man, that makes an old motherfucker feel real good, Mark Bell, I tell you, man.
How do you raise your own children? What is the messages that you learned from your mom? You learned some of the wrong things from your dad?
Well, I try my very best to be as much the opposite of my dad as possible. My dad was the blueprint for what not to do.
Do you think there's a problem with that at all? Being too kind to your kids?
You know what? I think it's
being too soft, I guess, maybe.
Possible.
Yeah.
But I think they turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty satisfied with the job I did. I may be guilty of spoiling them a little bit, but that's okay. I'd rather be, they have a memory of my dad spoiled me than my dad beat the fuck out of me when they get older, So,
yeah, which one's worse?
Yeah, I think they ain't spoiled me. I'll take that over. My dad fucked me up my dad gave me a black eye when I was 8, I'd rather, my dad gave me too much ice cream. I'll take that over the black eye.
Right.
Yeah.
Your dad was a preacher?
Yeah, he sure was.
And
Sure is, I guess. I guess he's still a preacher.
yeah, and you kind of end up doing something similar.
Man, I didn't
Preaching
want to
the
do that.
gospel of strength.
Yeah, boy, I didn't want to do that. But yeah, I hear it all the time. Preach, CT, preach. I'm like, fuck off. That's the last thing I want to do, man. Damn it. And he told me, he's telling me, I don't care what you do or how you try to do it, you can't get away from it. Preachers in your blood, you got to be a preacher. And I'm like, motherfucker, you crazy. That's the last thing I'm going to do. And then it turns out the motherfucker was semi-right. Because that's what everybody says. You preaching, CT. I'm like, fuck.
Do you get jealous of people at all?
Oh, hell no. No, I can say that honestly. I mean, I really want to see people succeed.
Yeah,
you know,
I get that sense from you.
Yeah, I really, really do want to see people succeed.
You concentrated on yourself and pushing forward with all that, but you're not worried about.
Nah, that's waste of time. Worried about what somebody, oh damn, somebody else is doing.
I think a lot of us are caught up in that now, though, because there's so much social media, so many people are out there, and so you see something that somebody else gets or does, and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah, trying to pull somebody down. I ain't got time for that bullshit, man. I want to see everybody do well. Even Mark Smelly Bell.
Guys, that's all the time we got. Strength is never weakness. See y'all later.